Hello and what is up everyone? In today's video, I am going to be comparing Summerlin South versus Summerlin West. I'm going to show you 4 different homes. I'm going to show you 2 homes on the market on the resale side, including this one that I'm standing in right now in Summerlin South. And then I'm going to show you new construction and compare Summerlin South to Summerlin West side by side to each other. I'm going to compare the same price points and I'm going to give you an inside look. Now, if we haven't met, my name is Kristina.Alexa and I am a luxury real estate agent here in fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada. As you can tell, this is part 2 of a 4-part video series I am filming here on this channel all of April, which encompasses everything you need to know about moving to Summerlin. I pretty much specialize in relocation and I do a ton of business here in Summerlin, so I thought what better way to reintroduce a new audience, 1, to my channel, and 2, just give all of my viewers who've been with me for years a really big update, because the real estate market in 2025 is a whole lot different than honestly any other market I've ever worked in, and I've been in the business for 4 years now. So let's dive right into it. So right now I'm actually standing in a resale on the market for $650,000 here in the amazing, beautiful Summerlin South neighborhood. So I'm in the backyard right now and I really want you to take into consideration everything of this house, even if you're not in the market for this property or this price point or anything like that, because I truly want some feedback down below in the comments. So if you can sit through the whole video as I compare Summerlin South versus Summerlin West, if you can sit through the whole thing and then leave a comment below telling me which one you would prefer, that would be awesome, because honestly I've lived here 4 years now in Summerlin and I do see the value add of both Summerlin South and West, but you know, I do get clients and they're like, which one is better? It's almost the first thing they ask me, and I can never answer affirmatively because they're both very, very great. So on this property here in Summerlin South, this is going to be the front room. That's the front door there. With this home here in Summerlin South, I wanted to show it to you because it's on the market now, but you can clearly see they've upgraded the floors, they've upgraded the kitchen, and this is pretty much turnkey. Also new carpets here. Honestly, turnkey is what you need to have your property kind of showing at right now if you want to get it sold within less than 2 months, I would say, especially in this price range. 650 to 800K is taking a bit longer on market than typical. This is just your 2-car garage. So this price point of 600 to 800,000 is definitely obviously not your everyday buyer. It's not like an entry-level price point by any means. It's kind of maybe like a secondary buyer or a buyer who's sometimes getting assistance from their family, things like that. Obviously, not everybody can qualify for 600 to 800K in today's economy. So this home is completely updated. That's the biggest difference between the Summerlin South homes, is they're very, very 2010s. I mean, that's literally like the year most of them were built, in the early 2010s. And if you're super young like me, you're gonna remember growing up in a house that looked like this. And if you're not super young like me, you're just gonna remember exactly what I'm talking about, not growing up in a house like that. But this is a typical 2010s master. I can literally look at this setup, look at this walk-in shower, and name the year this home was built. But obviously, these cabinets are not like that yellow undertone wood, and the flooring as well, that was super common in the style of those years. And then this is the toilet room. So we got the master here. Okay, we have these 2 bedrooms, we have this walk-in closet, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful property. And obviously you walk out and this is your kitchen, and then this can also be more of like a family room. Well, maybe over there in that front hallway is either a formal dining room or a formal living room. That's another big difference, is a lot of the homes down here in Summerlin South are going to, because of their age, because of being in the early 2010s, they are going to have a dining room. I want to point that out because that's a huge difference. Summerlin West homes, as we continue on this video, you're going to notice they're very new and very modern, and for whatever reason right now it's the style to not give single family homes, unless they're like above the $1 million mark, a dining room. So that is going to be a huge pro for Summerlin South, the fact that a lot of these properties really do look like this. And then also the reason I started in the backyard over here and I'm ending here is just to remind you, because we're going to see 4 properties today, that this property for 650 has a much bigger lot size than the house I'm going to compare it to in Summerlin West, which is where we're heading now. So for this one, we're going to know that it's going to be a bigger house square footage wise, as in living square feet that we have here. And that is because of the addition of this dining room here, this beautiful front entryway room. So for $650, you're getting bigger house and a bigger size lot as well. And then also, I do want to just show you guys the curb appeal of Summerlin South. Hi. All right, and this is the curb appeal. So you can see that property down here in Summerlin South, you definitely have wider streets and also more mature trees, and just a very different vibe than what we are going to see in Summerlin West. So now, I actually had a neighbor walk in the house. This happens to me all the time. Walk in the house and want to see it. So I'm filming this like 30 minutes later because I gave her a full tour and gave her the rundown and met her family and all this stuff. And that's what happens in real estate. But now I'm going to lock up this house. Hope you guys take it in, really, really compare it to the next house we're gonna go see, which is in Summerlin West. All right, everyone, I made it over to Summerlin West, and I'm actually already walking into the resale home I wanted to show you. So this is comparable as far as price to what we just saw in Summerlin South, and I am in the Sky Knoll neighborhood of Summerlin West, if any of you are familiar. So as you can see, right off the bat comparing, it's definitely a different style over here in Summerlin West, but if you are looking at the numbers on the screen, you're going to see that, long story short, in Summerlin West, you're gonna get newer for the exact same price. If we're going price for price, okay? As I go upstairs, I'll tell you this. You're gonna get newer, but you're gonna get smaller. This house is smaller in lot size and square footage than the house we just saw in Summerlin South. However, it is definitely a lot more upgraded and newer. Carpets are newer. I got my booties on. This is the master. So they've got upgraded cabinetry and kind of like display shelves throughout. They also have their master closet done, which I'll show you in a second. Up here, I wanted to give you the full view of the pool because it's quite loud. So once again, this is Summerlin West that I'm comparing to Summerlin South. This is exactly what the houses look like here. So another huge difference here in Summerlin West, a lot more standard, a lot more of the same type of homes. Over there in Summerlin South, there's a bit more character because the homes are older. And this is the master. So they've upgraded as well. Oh, again, the biggest difference, and then this is the custom closets they put in. Biggest difference between Summerlin South and Summerlin West at the end of the day is going to be Summerlin West is smaller, more modern. Another huge thing that I want to point out is in Summerlin South, you're about 15-20 minutes from the airport. Over here in Summerlin West, that's gonna go up to about 30, possibly 40, if there happens to be a lot of traffic to the airport. All right, and I know I'm comparing a 2-story to a 1-story. On the market right now for the price point, I felt like these were just like a really good example. And then this is what the street looks like. I've definitely featured this neighborhood in my videos and on my channel a lot before. Oh wow, they did every closet. That's amazing. This particular area of Summerlin West, I think is great. Yeah, this bathroom's super wide. They did the floors, new carpet. This is vinyl. All right, and this is just like original from builds. Nothing crazy. All right, I'm gonna slip my booties off as we step into the backyard that has a full grill. Got your pool equipment here. So obviously the pool is fabulous and perfectly landscaped, and this is definitely turnkey. But I want to point out that this lot size is a lot smaller than the lot sizes that we were getting in Summerlin South and that you're gonna get in general. But obviously, again, newer HVAC system. We know this pool is newer for maintenance and all of that. Nice barbecue, turf all the way. And then this is the side lot right over here in the fabulous Summerlin West. So now you've seen a resale home on the market in Summerlin South and in Summerlin West. The last thing for me to show you is compare the new construction. And as we know, Summerlin South does not have new construction available in the $600,000 to $700,000 price range. But guess what? Summerlin West honestly has too many for me to even begin to show you. So I'm gonna lock this house up. Right now, I am in the Sky Knoll neighborhood of Summerlin West. I'm gonna go to where all the new construction is being done, which is literally less than 10 minutes away up the street. And I'm gonna show you what you can get right now in Summerlin West for $650,000 on the new construction side of the market. Let's go. All right, since we know they're not comparable, Summerlin South versus Summerlin West new construction, this is just kind of an overview of the valley and how they're building out more of these awesome $1 million plus homes. So these homes right up against here are not in Ascension. However, these are obviously also going to be kind of 1.3 starting price around that low $1 million mark. And then these are 2024, 2025 builds that are right around the same mark. I actually have a video touring a few of the models in this Ascension neighborhood already up on my channel. So for the purposes of the comparison today, I'm not even gonna go inside because like I said, I wouldn't take a client to go see $1 million house if they're looking in the $650,000, $600,000, $700,000 price range. It's not comparable, but I just want to tell you what it looks like over here for new construction in Summerlin South and give you just the good info as I try to always do. All right, so when it comes to new construction, the market and the game is very, very different when I'm comparing Summerlin South and Summerlin West. And the main reason is in Summerlin South, there is not new construction available under pretty much $1 million price point or more. So quite frankly, they're not really comparable. The new construction market, I'm saying right now, is not really comparable when it comes to Summerlin South versus Summerlin West. Summerlin West just has a substantial more opportunity and offering for quite a few different price ranges starting in the 500s all the way up to $1 million or more, obviously. But if we're sticking around kind of like that $650,000, $700,000 mark from when I compared the resales, and we know that we can't really use Summerlin South new construction as a comparable because all of them are $1 million or more. If you're really wanting something that's like a 2024 or 2025 or even 2026 year build, but I will still show it to you just so you know what is on the market and what the comparable kind of does look like. So right now I am driving into the beautiful Ascension neighborhood here in Summerlin South. All of these right across are going to also be resale, but not brand new, and those are all obviously over $1 million or more, and that's just kind of like the starting price. All right, so I made it over to Summerlin West as I said I would, and I'm going to show you exactly what a comparable home would be in that $650,000 range. And I'm actually standing inside the master of that right now. So this is again a new construction in Summerlin West. So we've made it all the way over here, and this is your master bath right now. This neighborhood, I'm going to go over pricing in a second so you guys can see why I chose it as a comparable. But before we do, I really want you to just digest this floor plan and tell me what y'all think. So we have a full linen closet in this master bath here. I have actually sold a few properties in this neighborhood and with this builder as well. I've sold this house in different areas of town as well. This is another little half linen closet, and up here on the second floor you have a little loft area. It's not as big as one. It's showing like small, and it is small, I want to specify, but we still got a couch in here. So this is the second floor of the Summerlin West new construction I wanted to showcase today. And the reason I wanted to showcase it is because this house that I'm showing you right now is actually 1,720 square feet. And we're in this beautiful neighborhood right now. And this is in the heart of Summerlin West. So this is what all of the properties are going to look like. So if you just go back to the neighborhood sneak peek I did earlier, you're going to see why I feel like it's very comparable. The house styles, the parks. This community is gated, and this community also has an additional HOA. This is your laundry closet. So we're just on the other side of the second floor here. And this is a little half bath. I actually like this little vanity area right here. And this neighborhood is actually on closeout, meaning the incentives to kind of get under contract and build a property in this neighborhood are massive, because this builder, essentially, this happens with every neighborhood, every builder, once they have just a few homes left to sell, obviously as a contractor, as a developer, you guys could guess they want to get their property sold and moved on and fully funded, closed, satisfied homeowners, finish out the neighborhood, also satisfying Howard Hughes, the Summerlin Corporation, and make everybody happy and, you know, get people into housing at the end of the day. This is this beautiful backyard. I do want to point out that this is a kind of a bigger lot, as to the point I was comparing Summerlin West and South. One thing I pointed out earlier in the video was the lot sizes. This one right here is a bigger lot, but that's because this is the model. So I want to specify that. You can see all of, we're in New Construction Village basically right now. I want to specify that this is a model home, so they purposely put it on a bigger lot, and also a corner lot right here, as you can see. So right now, this base price, meaning before you go to the design studio and put in any upgrades or finishes, typically I would pocket anywhere, if we're being realistic, from like 25 to 50 grand at the design studio. Base model right now, this home is asking under the 600,000 in the high 500s. So under the $600,000 mark in the high 500s. And I think that's absolutely amazing. And you can obviously see why, if you were an active buyer with that 650 pre-approval, 650 budget, as to why, even though living square foot on paper, homes might like be smaller, you might want to go the new construction route, because you get to put your personal touch. You have home warranty covered for a year, which you don't have with resale, unless you obviously negotiate that with the seller. But you have warranty in this case with KB Homes, with KB themselves. Another huge plus is because it's new construction, and like the construction manager is obviously in town. He's around the corner if he's not across the way here in New Construction Village, as I like to call it. When you're building new construction, I actually get to meet the construction superintendent, and so do you. So it's really helpful, because let's say you closed 8 months ago, and I actually have clients, I know you're watching this and I know you're like, that's my house. For example, a year passes by and then something, it's a house, you know, something comes up. You actually get the direct line to the construction superintendent, and if they still happen to be in town and stuff, it's really, really beneficial. I've literally never had an experience, and I've sold multiple new construction homes, multiple builders at a high price point, at a more entry-level price point. Construction superintendents are super, super friendly. Never had a problem of them, even after closing, texting you back with a quick solution, or sending you a link, getting a contact, or even I've had new construction superintendents, that's a tongue twister, even pass by if needed post-closing to, you know, help you out with their builds. Another thing I want to point out is with 2025 builds, 2024, whatever, newer, you're going to get a lot bigger windows. Another perk is you actually get to decide, obviously you can remodel later, but you get to decide with this builder how tall your sliding back door is. So this is an example of well under 600,000. Right now, the base price for this is 576,000. Obviously, you're going to want to add design studio, but this is it, you guys. Let me know what you think. This is Summerlin West, so this is your guest bath all the way down here, which I actually like that it's not right next to the kitchen, because I hate when I'm having guests over and like I need to go to the restroom, or they need to go to the restroom, and I'm in the kitchen, and you can like not allow them privacy, you know? People are pee shy. That's a thing for sure. With this builder also, there's a ton of incentives. So if we are going kind of dollar sign to dollar sign and comparing, which I do want to do, which is where I'm gonna head now to the office, and we're just gonna wrap everything up and do a final kind of side by side. This very well could be the best decision, but I truly obviously want to know all of the opinions. Please comment down below. You've seen what I've shown you today. So this is a gated community, beautiful views. We got mountain views up here. This is the community park. And then these 3 lots are actually some of the only lots that are still available right now in this neighborhood. They have massive incentives on them. They do have lot premiums. They're pretty small. I'm gonna wrap all the numbers up, and then we're gonna do a side-by-side comparison in the office. And I really need y'all to participate with this one, okay? Because this is like the ultimate Summerlin West versus Summerlin South. What would you do? So I'm gonna run over to my office, run some numbers, and we'll talk then. While I am driving over, I do want to mention a few kind of honorable mention neighborhoods that we have here in Summerlin that I didn't showcase today. Summerlin isn't only South and West, it's also just regular Summerlin. It's just called Summerlin. A lot of people call it Summerlin North, but to be honest, that makes me cringe, because geographically it's not north. It's like not a north. There's no way it's not north geographically. I don't know why people call it Summerlin North. To me, that doesn't exist. It's only Summerlin West or South, and the rest is just all Summerlin. And in these neighborhoods, I want to give a really big shout out to areas like like Pecoli Ranch, which are even more older homes, and I'm talking like early 2000s or late 90s. Pecoli Ranch is gonna have really traditional, lots of charm and character style homes. That one is also pretty renter friendly if you want to rent a home. And then we have also got, what is my other favorite one? Boca Park. So Boca Park is actually like a shopping center. It's on Charleston and what is that going to be? Fort Apache, I want to say, Boca Park. And that is going to be super renter friendly if you're like barely just moving to Summerlin, you want to like dip your toes in the water. Boca Park is an honorable mention. And then of course I couldn't mention Summerlin, I feel like, without mentioning Queens Ridge. Queens Ridge, honorable mention neighborhood. Of course there's a ton more. Queens Ridge is a multi-million-dollar neighborhood. You can sometimes find listings in there for less than $1 million. Queens Ridge is a timeless, beautiful, kind of classic style, a little Euro inspired neighborhood over in just regular good old Summerlin. All right, so I made it back into the office and I'm in our conference room right now. If you see all of the red behind me or any of our agency kind of swag we have, I do work for the agency, which is an amazing real estate brokerage. We happen to have a Netflix show that is still on the air. We've got 2 seasons. If you want to get familiar more with my brokerage, you can go watch the show there. But right now we have really important business to take care of, and that is the final verdict. If you were house hunting with me right now today, let's say we saw all those properties over the last couple days, I want to know truly what direction you would go, in addition to these few final notes I'm going to share with you. So in short, as a review, Summerlin South versus Summerlin West. Summerlin South is going to have more properties built in the early 2000s and the 2010s. It's also going to have typically only one single HOA, while Summerlin West is going to have typically homes built in 2020 or newer, at least one HOA. Most of the communities actually have 2 HOAs. In addition to that, on the Summerlin West side, we're also oftentimes, especially with new construction, going to run into a SID or LID. Old school real estate used to call this, back in California, a Melrose, and here in Vegas, in Nevada, we call this a SID, which stands for Special Improvement District. This is attached to every new real property, meaning a real estate property in Summerlin West right now, regardless if it's a condo, townhouse, doesn't matter. It's attached to every Summerlin West property right now in the area that we were just in because of the new mixed-use commercial plaza coming to Summerlin West. So basically, the city, in order to get even more funding for that plaza in the middle of all of those new construction developments, they're charging every homeowner a SID, Special Improvement District. This oftentimes also happens in states and cities where maybe there hasn't been any work done and the city doesn't have any funding, and for the community to kind of be leveled up, a lot of times it's in other scenarios. An example would be repairing a street or repairing kind of sidewalks. Sometimes the city, this is just as an example, will put a SID onto a certain district of homes nearby, so that way they can, get the funding and the budget to be able to restore whatever street. Now, since I do so much relocation, I know I get buyers from California, from Texas, from New York, from everywhere. I often get asked, like, why is there a SID, and how can I get around that? You can't get around that. A SID is put on the property, not on the owner itself. So in the case that you actually, for whatever reason, let's say you buy a house with me, 4 years from now you have to sell, you're moving, you haven't paid off your SID, that actually stays pretty much as a lien against the property, not against the owner itself, which is a win-win, more or less. But the question of why do I have to have a SID if I live in Summerlin West in new construction, you guys need to remember that Nevada does not have state income tax. So none of our residents are kind of feeding a budget to the state from our income, which is a huge reason, and I feel so lucky to live here, huge reason why so many people do move here, because there is no state income tax. While in economies like that, you have to make up for, lack of kind of truly just like city budget coming from somewhere. So that's the reason why our car registrations are pretty pricey if you compare it to any other state, and also why most properties in Summerlin West are going to have the special improvement fee. Now, how much that is, it could be anywhere from $5,000 all the way up to thousands of dollars. It really just depends, case by case basis. Always work with a solid agent such as myself to get you that info. So we know Summerlin West is going to be a smaller house. It's going to be more modern, but it's going to have more fees. And that's basically what we need to review for the real estate property itself. Now, if we just take a look at kind of the areas, a huge bonus, I think, for Summerlin South is that it's right up against the southwest of Las Vegas. There is a brand new casino down here in the southwest, which is right up against Summerlin South. I know it's a lot of S's and Wests and this and that. That's Vegas for you. Durango Casino, which is the Stations Casino, meaning the same company behind Red Rock Resort, which is the resort in Summerlin West, built Durango Casino. It's been open for probably just a little bit over a year now. That's a huge bonus for me when I'm comparing Summerlin West versus Summerlin South. Summerlin South is right next to the Southwest, which is a very, very, very hot spot, super trendy neighborhood right now. All right, so now you know the verdict for the actual pieces of real estate, kind of side-by-side comparison. So let's zoom out a bit and take a look at the areas of town. Summerlin South, a huge kind of bonus for me and for a lot of prospective home owners in this area is going to be two things. One, the inclusion of Bishop Gorman High School, which is like the #1 top rated private school here in all of Las Vegas. That's located in Summerlin South, which is a huge thing because we know that Bishop Gorman, the fact that a private high school of such high caliber exists in this neighborhood means that the Summerlin South area can almost always feel good and confident knowing that there's always going to be a demand for the homes around Bishop Gorman, because this school, y'all can look it up on your own time. It has such high ratings that families actually move to Las Vegas just so their children, if they're in any type of like athletic situation, could attend Bishop Gorman. For me, it's a huge plus as a real estate agent when I'm telling people about Summerlin South, because you know the buyer demand is pretty much always going to be there because Bishop Gorman exists. Another huge bonus for Summerlin South is that it's right up against the Southwest community of Las Vegas. The Southwest community is actually one of I'm going to say the word trendy, one of the trendiest, most hot spots right now for real estate because of all of the new infrastructure going in the Southwest community. They also happen to have a lot more new construction below the $1 million mark in the Southwest. So if you're sitting here and you're like, I love Summerlin South, but I obviously can't get a new construction there unless it's in Ascension, maybe a good thing to look at would be just a few streets over. This would be streets like Russell, Mall, Buffalo, even Tropicana. A lot more new construction or recently built homes are going up over there in Summerlin South, which is right next to the Southwest. Also home of Durango Casino, which is also built by Stations Casinos, same company that does Red Rock. I know it's getting a bit confusing, but as you can see, this is why a lot of people have trouble deciphering which direction they're going to go into. Summerlin West is home of downtown Summerlin. It's probably like the biggest appeal because Summerlin West, having downtown Summerlin and also the future plaza in the middle of all that new construction area, is also when I use the example of Bishop Gorman protecting the equity and the consistent buyer demand for Summerlin South. The same argument can be put on, there's always gonna be people who want to live by downtown Summerlin, and there's always gonna be people who want to live in more new modern homes when the new mixed use commercial development finishes up in the Southwest area. Last but not least, airport times. I think I did mention it earlier in the video when I was driving through Summerlin South, but just as a refresher, Summerlin South, to get to the airport, it's going to be about 15-20 minutes, whereas Summerlin West, if there's a lot of traffic, you have to get all the way from the west side to basically, to me, that's like the other side of town where the airport is. So that can be upwards of typically 30 minutes, sometimes 40. So there's a big difference there if you're someone who is a frequent flyer or even someone who is constantly picking up family from the airport. That's a bit of a big jump for me, going from 20 minutes in Summerlin South to 30, maybe 35 minutes in Summerlin West. All right, y'all, that is all the information I have to share with you today. Of course, I can only cover what I could cover in this video. So if you have any kind of insight on Summerlin West versus South, leave me a comment down below as to why one might be better versus one might be not the most desirable choice. I know a lot of times also people like to know about parks and walking districts, walking areas. I personally feel like Summerlin, all of Summerlin has a really, really good area for walking in every single neighborhood of town. So that's not something I included in this video because I don't think like one particular park is better than the other. I know when my clients move to Summerlin and start getting to know all of the parks, they kind of find their favorite park and they're like, this is my favorite park because my dog loves this or that. And so sometimes there could be a bias there. And so I didn't want to include too much of like the park situation because some people have kids, some people have dogs, some people don't have anything. That's all the information for you today. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you didn't catch it, my name is Kristina.Alexa. I'm a real estate agent here in Las Vegas, Nevada. I specialize in the Summerlin market. I have a huge emphasis and a lot of experience with new construction. So if you're looking to move or you want any advice, email me. Make sure you subscribe because this is video 2 of a 4-part video series here that I'm doing on my channel in this month of April, going over all things Summerlin. The next video is going to be a day in my life living in Summerlin, giving you a true insight look on what my life is like. I'm gonna take off my realtor hat, put on my Summerlin girl hat, and take you inside. That'll be next week. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.
Home run, touchdown, buzzer beater, do it all now.